Imagine a teenage duchess who will marry two kings, birth three more, lead a crusade in armor, spend 15 years in prison, yet still rule the greatest empire in Western Europe. This is Eleanor of Aquitaine, southern France, spring 1137. In a candlelit hall at Poitiers, messengers kneel before 15-year-old Eleanor. It is her father's last wish. My duchy is yours. Aquitaine is no backwater. It controls Europe's finest vineyards, three gold-bearing rivers, and a network of pilgrimage routes that funnel money straight into ducal coffers. Troubadours test new love songs in her audience chamber. Merchants unload silk from distant Al-Andalus. Contemporary poets dub the region the Garden of Delights, while Parisian clerics hiss the Devil's Playground. King Louis VI moves fast. To bolt Aquitaine to the French crown, he marries his heir, another Louis, to the radiant new duchess. Eleanor canters north with 300 knights, hawks, greyhounds, and enough linen to blanket a cathedral nave. What greets her is less Camelot and more monastery, stone corridors echoing with Gregorian chant, suppers of boiled beans, courtiers in sackcloth during Lent. Louis himself had been groomed for the church. Until his elder brother's fatal accident, he was set to become abbot of St. Denis. She recites Occitan love poetry. They mumble Latin psalms. Parisians gape at her silk gowns stitched with leopards, at her laughter during Mass. Within weeks, pamphleteers label her the rose among turnips. The clash is cultural, spiritual, and about to turn geopolitical. 1147, Pope Eugenius III calls a second crusade after Edessa falls to the Turks. Louis VII, ever pious, sees a path to heavenly glory, and perhaps a son. Eleanor refuses to stay home, spinning thread. Chronicles gasp as she arms 100 Aquitaine chevaliers, their shields emblazoned with her personal device, the Golden Lion. The march across Anatolia is a disaster of ambushes and starvation, but the real scandal breaks at Antioch. Prince Raymond, Eleanor's dashing uncle, begs Louis to strike at Aleppo. Louis insists on a barefoot pilgrimage to Jerusalem instead. Rumors ripple. Is the queen plotting with Raymond? Worse, are they lovers? Sources conflict, but tension explodes when Eleanor demands annulment in the burning sands outside Antioch. Louis bundles her onto a ship. The crusade limps home, prayer books heavier than victories. Back in France, clerics annul the royal marriage on grounds of fourth cousin consanguinity, delicately omitting the absence of a prince after 15 years. Eleanor retains her lands. She is, once again, the richest single woman in Europe, and every baron with a sword wants her. 2 kidnapping attempts fail within a fortnight. So Eleanor plays offense. She dispatches a terse letter to 19-year-old Henry of Anjou, fiery grandson of Henry I of England, inviting him to Poitiers, if you dare. Henry covers 550 kilometers in 11 days, outrides rival suitors, and weds her on the 18th of May, 1152. When the French king hears, he is said to have turned the color of lilac. Medieval mic drop achieved. 2 years later, Henry claims the English throne. Unite his Angevin patrimony to Eleanor's Aquitaine, and you get the Angevin, or Plantagenet, empire. 220,000 square kilometers, 7 distinct legal systems, 1 restless royal couple. The English exchequer surges with Bordeaux wine duty. Flemish wool flows south over Plantagenet toll roads. Governance is peripatetic. Henry signs charters on horseback. Eleanor from Poitiers hosts what chroniclers call a parliament of poets. She patronizes Bernard de Ventadour, who coins the very grammar of courtly love. Together the pair refashion rulership, itinerant but centralized, brutal yet strangely modern. Success breeds ego. By 1173, the royal nursery is a grown brood. Young Henry, Richard, Geoffrey, and Little John, each promised dominions that never materialize. Eleanor, chafing at her shrinking authority, rides south and secretly eggs her sons into open rebellion. The war stretches from Normandy hedgerows to the moors of Ireland. Henry II fights like wildfire. He routs the rebels, forgives the sons after humiliating penance, but condemns Eleanor to honorable confinement. For 15 years she shuttles between castles, always under guard, yet treated with queenly respect. A velvet cage. 1189. Henry II dies, undone by family betrayal and a festering illness. His son Richard, soon to earn glory in the Crusades, frees his mother, Eleanor, and elevates her to queenly power. But fate isn't finished. Returning from the Holy Land, Richard is kidnapped by Duke Leopold of Austria, then sold to the German Emperor for 75,000 silver marks. 74-year-old Eleanor saddles up. She levies a Saladin tithe, melts palace silver, tours towns preaching filial loyalty. Monks strip their altars of candlesticks, peasants pay in hens. 2 years later, she delivers wagon loads of coin, 20 tons, to Mainz. Europe marvels. No king ever had so formidable a mother. Richard dies in 1199 from a crossbow wound, bequeathing chaos. John, clever, untrusted, takes the crown. The Capetian king, Philippe Auguste, prepares to snatch Normandy. Eleanor, nearly 80, embarks on one final diplomatic tour. She forges the marriage of her Castilian granddaughter Blanche to the French heir, sealing a peace contract inked in bloodlines. Her itinerary spans 1,500 kilometers in winter. Knights escort her through snow-choked passes. Monks note the iron of her spirit outlives the weakness of her flesh. In 1204, at Fontevraud Abbey, she puts aside the quill, dons the veil, and, aged maybe 82, slips from history into legend. In the very year of her death, John would lose Normandy. Over a century later, her descendants on both thrones would ignite the 100 Years' War. Eleanor's fingerprints are on every domino. 8 centuries later, Eleanor still hacks the algorithm of history. If her story just hacked yours, tap like, subscribe for more rogue royals, and hit the comments.